Rhino poaching really started to increase in about 2008. 2010 really saw a marked increase, and there was exponential growth until last year when it started to plateau out. But essentially we're losing over 1,200 rhino a year, and that's unacceptable. As a college, we feel we're responsible to the property because we're based just on the outskirts of the Kruger National Park on a property that's owned by WWF. So we want to practice what we preach. So we've actually started our own rhino project, which has a three-tiered approach. Number one, well-trained rangers that are motivated and well-equipped. Number two, aerial surveillance. So we go up every day, we try to find out where our rhino are so we can tell the rangers where to go and protect them. And tier three, the dog unit. Because as everybody knows, if you put a canine asset with a field ranger, you're able to track hundreds of times more effectively than just a ranger on his own.
Our focus on conservation really is about one thing, really. And that is that, we grew up here, we experienced this bush firsthand as kids. We grew up and enjoyed this pristine wilderness. And what we really want to do is make sure that our children's children can actually enjoy that as well when they grow up. That is what it's about. safariFRANK decided to work with the Southern African Wildlife College. Intimately, we've selected them as one of the very authentic organizations, not-for-profit, on the front line and making a real difference here. There's obviously about 6, 7, 8, 9,000 rhinos in the Kruger Park, the Greater Kruger Park, so it's a lot of rhinos, but what they're doing now is notching some of them, and the more they can do, the better.
The notching of the rhino adds a different tier, in as much as we get distribution data of the animal population or the rhino population in our area, but we have no idea of the individual movements. So what the notch enables us to do is on the ground, when we have our field rangers or our dog units on the ground sighting the rhino, they're filling the identification form. The notches have got a very specific number, they record it, they give a GPS location, and we're able to work out their home ranges over time.
safariFRANK did donate for us to participate in a rhino notching, which was an amazing experience. It was quite emotional, to be honest, but to see that beautiful creature, so sort of gracefully be put into sedation so that we could do the notching. And the notching's important because it means that we can actually track their behaviours and their movements and work out, going forward, how we can best protect these guys.
We had the pleasure of joining the Southern African Wildlife College in a live rhino notching, so we're able to dart and sedate a rhino in order to then notch its ears, mark its ears, as well as implant it with some microchips.
Yeah, the Bat Dog was quite close to our hearts. We've been involved with Bruce, the Bat Dog pilot, for a number of years. He's a great guy, doing great work. He flies out on rhino patrol, sometimes in pretty dangerous conditions. 8 hours a day of flying, tracking the rhinos, see what's going on the ground, and supporting the crews, whenever there's been an incident.
It's been incredibly effective. Since we've had these aircraft based in these areas, poaching has dropped substantially in the areas that we fly. So I think just being in the sky is a deterrent for any poacher on the ground, flying daily patrols. Also, the work we're doing has certainly made a big difference.
I'm Johan van Straten. I'm the Canine Unit Manager in the Southern African Wildlife College. Obviously the dogs help us with tracking, detecting stuff. So a dog can track at night, which we can't do as humans. And we got speed, so we try to catch up to the people. So that's the main purposes of tracking dogs.
So the dogs, they train dogs at the Wildlife College. They use a number of different breeds of dogs, different characteristics. Some are very good at the hounds, at tracking people down, the poachers, and then some others more attack dogs.
Then we have the pilots and the aeroplanes. They do detection from the air as well, and suppression. So if we're on the tracks, they do suppression, and hopefully the poachers will hide underneath the bush, do not be detected, and that gives us time to catch up to them and do the apprehension work.
And some of the funds that we'll be raising in the short term will be donated to them building another kennel, a state-of-the-art kennel for these dogs.
Rhino conservation, it's an interesting thing. There's a lot of animals, I think, in the world that are suffering from deforestation and loss of habitat and are highly endangered. But I think rhinos, it's something special to do with Africa. Once you travel here, you fall in love with exploring the place. And rhino, obviously one of the big five and one of the key parts of the African wildlife here. So, you know, that's really been the target for us. It's part of, I guess, a broader love for the African continent and travelling and exploring here.
Well, it's important to everyone, and it should be important to everyone. It's the future. You know, people talk about going to Africa to see the big five. You know, what if there's only 4? It's important that we, you know, do everything we can to try and save these guys.
Well, creating awareness is hugely important for this for the rhino poaching. It's not an African problem; it's a world problem. It's not a rhino problem; it's a biodiversity problem. So I think it's so important to get international people understanding the issues. Without the support of donors like safariFRANK, we wouldn't be able to do this. We wouldn't be able to invest in the property in the way we're doing it, and hopefully have the successes we're going to have.